Yes. We're live.
Hey people. What
Hey,
up, what up, what up?
What's up? Let me scooch back.
So we have a different arena today. We are in Kim's salon.
We're at Fifth and Harlow Salon Boutique Incorporated, and I'm joined with Miss Constance Hunter of Prevail. Well, I'm touching her shirt.
You see?
Prevail Natural Hair Salon. So today we are going to get into this debate. Right?
Yes,
Is that what we're going to talk about?
Yes.
What is it? Tell them what it is.
We are talking about a debate. Go ahead. You got it.
She said,
Introduce it.
this is, okay, the title is Natural Hair versus Chemically Treated Hair.
Mm-hmm.
The topic came up when we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. It is, are you still considered to be natural, a natural, if you have color on your hair? I always thought you are no longer considered to be natural by the word natural. But when I sent it over to Constance, she said, she said in her text message, LOL, why'd you say that? And I was like, oh, here we go. Because if y'all know Constance, you already know. If you know me, you already know. So you're going to know us together because she did give me insight from a natural expert's perspective, but I still told her what I think by not being a natural. I'm not a natural hair expert. I care for natural hair, but I'm not a specialist. That's what I should say. I don't specialize in natural hair. I can do natural hair. That's her thing, natural hair. So this is why we clash, but it's gonna be good. Okay, let's get into it.
So the question is, well, what she sent me over said natural versus relaxer free. And
yes,
I laughed because I'm like, well, what is relaxer free?
That is what she said.
And to me, when we talk about natural hair, I always feel like we're talking about the texture versus actual chemicals, meaning color. Color is to change the color of the hair, right? The hues and all of those. But a relaxer is meant to straighten or reconstruct hair. So I feel like you can have color treated natural hair versus just be kicked out of the whole natural realm, because your texture is still most of the time natural. Most naturals, if they get color, they choose colors that don't affect the texture of their hair because they want all of their curls intact.
Okay, I was not paying attention. I was trying to see about an article that she sent me, but those two articles. Well, first let me say my thing. My thing was, like I've told her for the last at least 10 or more years, was in my experience, even when I looked it up a long time ago, when natural hair has always been obviously a thing. Like I had my hair pressed when I was little for a long time. And did you? Okay, so we were natural, but I think we weren't thinking about it. A lot of us were just like that. We didn't care who was natural or
and I think
whatever.
It's because when Grandma pressed our hair, we didn't have straight pieces. Regardless,
we had pretty
either
hair
we
like
had
this,
pretty
but
hair or it might be
nice,
a piece
healthy.
burnt out because it wasn't
on
the
your
in-between.
grandma.
But my grandmother,
Mine was good.
She would press my hair to the
healthy.
T, and when I wet it,
it goes right back, and then they
so
have to blow you out
definitely different.
And press. And even with the Mama used to put the I used to like that. Put the comb or the curler in the grease. It'll go like. But you know, like you said, my hair always was back to normal. they just knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
But now that we got further into natural hair and natural hair became more acceptable, and you know, it really became a whole, more than a trend, it's a lifestyle. It's people embracing their natural texture.
Right.
So when I looked this up a long time ago, because people were, you know, talking about, like I told you, stay away from the creamy crack.
Mm-hmm.
Crack is whack. And not the crack, you know, drugs, but the hair chemical
Relaxer,
drug,
yeah.
relaxer. And I've always been on the side of we shouldn't, I'm always on the side of what's going to be better for the person's hair and how are they going to be able to maintain it, because people want to be natural, or somebody tells them they should be natural, to me meaning relaxer free.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do it and don't realize how much work it takes, because they haven't either been that way since they were a kid, or whoever's taking care of their hair is unskilled even in the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the basics of it. So then everybody is getting messed up, and then now you got an ugly head of hair, but not because it's ugly, it's because nobody knew what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody probably like really took the time to get educated, just listening to other people. So I'm on whatever makes the hair better for the customer,
Mm-hmm.
so that their hair doesn't fall out. And
Right.
that could be you getting any kind of straightener, because just because it looks pretty on the outside doesn't mean it's healthy. So
Right.
when I brought it up to Constance, that's always been a thing. What really is it? Because I've been telling people, well, ma'am, you have color on your hair. So to me, you're not natural anymore, because you've altered the state that you naturally come in. But to the ladies or the men who are natural hair specialists, their terminology is different. Therefore, when they speak to you, it's going to be different. So we need to know the terminology. The correct terminology is what?
I think everybody still has their own opinion.
Mm-hmm. But when they come to
but for
Constance
me,
salon,
I feel like as long as your curl pattern has not been interrupted, you're natural. Can that mean, oh, you went and got your hair silk pressed and now you have heat damage and you have straight pieces and curly pieces? A lot of times with those issues, you can tell as a natural stylist or expert how someone's hair became straight. I can tell if it was the flat iron.
right, permanently straight.
Right. I
yeah.
can tell if it was the blow dryer. It just depends on how it is and just the length of the differences, I guess, so to say. If it's the ends, a lot of times it's more so the flat iron. If it's the mid shaft, maybe like an inch from the scalp to maybe, I'll say about 3 inches long. Some people have that slick part in their head.
Yeah, that part that's like,
that's
right
most of the
up in
time,
here.
that's the blow dryer. And that's
'Cause
from
you like-
that. Well, no, that's actually from the brush and the blow dryer.
Oh,
and they
so
leave
yeah.
it there too long
yeah,
and
letting
pull
it sit and pull.
Right. So it just
Because
depends.
you still broken the little bonds in the
Mhm.
hair. So either you could physically change them or chemically change them. Either way, you've changed them permanently.
Yes. There's no going back. You can grow it back.
And cut
grow it
from
out
there.
and trim it. It's not always the best thing to just completely cut it
That's
off.
what I think. Unless it's just because you can
yeah.
make it manageable and it can look good. It
Right.
just has to take the expertise of, say, if you're getting your hair done, that'll be the work of you and the stylist. If you're doing it at home, you still need to figure out what to do to properly.
Right. So
So you
also
don't break it off, or have to cut it off eventually.
And over this last year, I've
Okay.
realized, being that I'm expanding, that there is a difference between someone who does natural hair and someone who styles natural hair.
Meaning she's expanding her biz as a business owner. She is working with a new crew, so she's constantly trying to, you interview, you talk to, and you get to see these people. And tell us about your experience. Not, you don't have to say names, but
So
just like
I
in one
guess
of
for
your
me,
people.
just having the application, looking for a natural hairstylist, I get people who turn in the application, and then when it comes to what do you do, like what type of styles can you do? It's always flat iron. It's always sew in. It's always quick weave. It's always
That's not necessarily
right. So it's.
what
I think
a natural
what
hair
they do
specialist
is
would
alter it into something that they can manage.
Yes, instead of working with the natural texture.
Yes, so I'm always
Okay,
looking for a natural hairstylist, someone who can take that hair that comes in and style it without transforming it into something different.
So when she told me about the difference between natural hair and relaxer-free hair, for her, she was saying that it is texture that we're talking about and not the
color.
So not the chemical state.
Yeah.
So much as, meaning color can slightly alter your texture. However,
it's not meant to alter your texture.
Right. So that you could still be, you know, your texture maybe just slightly softened or not change much at all. But when you get into the chemical where it might be a keratin, a relaxer, or whatever, that's where you are altered, where you are no longer a natural.
Right. And I guess an easier way to say this in my opinion, is with color, you can two-strand twist your hair. With a relaxer, it's not happening. So if that makes sense to you,
I'm thinking about all the people who don't have like a good straight relaxer that have been two-strand twists.
We all know that the best two-strand twists are the ones that come the juicy twist.
And that's what I see in my head. So when she says two-strand twist, I see juice, you know, bounce like when I used to do my little girl's hair.
Color. Right.
No, you can. So see, all these things are really still semantics. Like, it's like, oh no, you don't do this, but I do this. This don't look like, and it's all in people's heads. So what it comes down to is we have to communicate between the other person, and I think that's where it all has got
and I don't think that it's a wrong way or a right way opinion.
Can be confusing.
Just we encounter different let's see, objectives or solutions or challenges.
But we see it. So if you put both of us together, for instance, say if we were like two people that we're each other's assistants and co-workers. So if I'm helping her with something, she's helping me. We work in the same place. I do whatever hair, she does whatever hair. But then say we come together on this one lady or this one guy. So now we'll have to work like, what is it, 360. We'll have to work around, because what she hears from the person saying, oh, I want to, she's going to hear that, and I'm going to hear something else. So then we will have to make sure that we come together. Which poses a challenge,
before I forget. We should have a challenge. So you know how couples do challenges? They may ask a question. And they flip up the card.
Two different. When's the first time you knew he loved you? And you're like, oh my God. When we were at the store, and he's like, no, from the. And you're like, I thought we talked about this.
We'll have to get us some postcards and some pens and just make up scenarios. And
that'd be good.
In my head, what I was thinking about was a person that walks in, say she has heat damage on the ends, and she wants to get a style. I might look at her hair and be like, oh,
ma'am.
Right. But Kim may look at her hair and be like, oh, so you straighten it all the time. Let's flat iron.
Or I might say, I'm still going to do that style or a style to help you transition from you always getting your hair straightened. Because in her mind, the best, she said a few seconds ago, the best twist or the best, not a braid down, because that could just be, but a juicy twist. No, a braid down though is going to give you. It gives you more chance to work with the hair.
That would be the difference of the style that I would do, because I would still give you twists, but we would have to put rods on the end.
Again, it can be. The point is, it can still be done.
It can be done.
It's just the outcome on what she has in her mind.
Yeah,
is like, well, I don't always jump to a flat iron. So for me, I think because I am kind of stuck in some of my ways. But I also try to work with the person, because like I said, sometimes just because you flat iron your hair all the time, I don't want to jump to the flat iron unless you got to go to work or you said this is for your job. But you do have those
clients. I even have clients that want nothing but a flat iron.
Yeah, they don't want to relax. They just want to be flat iron. And I'm not opposed to those people.
Yeah.
As long as you're not going back home just because, you know, you saw a piece like when we were in high school and you're like, ooh, that piece not straight.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be chop, chop, chop. You're going to break it off, burn it up. But if you're good with it, there's people that are chemical free, relaxer free, but they only get presses. That I've done whose hair has grown, but see, we work together.
And most of those clients listen.
And most of those kind of people. So the key
is
listening
possible.
and communication. Because, do you think that most of the issues too is miscommunication? Because like your vision and the other person's vision, if we don't get to the bottom of it, or if it was, say, another stylist, sometimes it is somebody's fault, but not in like a really bad way. I think it was just really poor communication.
I think what for me, I do, but I don't, and I'm gonna say why I don't. Because you have some people that come and they bounce. So they might come to you this week, go to someone else next week, or do this and this and this. And not everyone has the same plan for your hair.
Or know what the other person is going with.
I've had people who we worked on their hair, and their hair is beautiful, it's grown out. We got all your curls.
Don't bring up sad
And then here you go, feeling like I can't get in, so now I need to go across the street and get my hair flat ironed.
Or she didn't do that one thing, which is the thing that we were not doing for 6 months. The reason why you got hair on your head, and you went over to Sally.
And you come back and you're mad,
and
pissed
Sally
off, crying.
And your hair broke off.
And your hair's done. And we're back to square one.
You back to
those things happen. I don't think that's a miscommunication.
Sad.
I think that's patience.
That's you not listening.
And even still, with my clients, I try to let them know, even if you go to someone else's chair, to look for certain signs. And when you see those signs, don't sit there and just let that person keep doing.
Excuse yourself.
Because you can make more money, or you can make money quicker than you can grow your hair. So if you feel like you're going to waste your money, just waste your money.
Especially if you don't have that hair that you cut it off and then the people's hair grow back.
And you really care.
And a lot of people don't have that hair.
Right.
So you got to wait a while.
Right. So it's definitely a little bit more than miscommunication. I will say as stylists that we have to be, and I'm including myself in this because I've had clients for, I want to say 7 years that know what I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
And by that 5th year, they forget. Like, oh, you never told me that. And I'm like,
right, ma'am.
So we have to reiterate a lot of our practices. And
that is true. Because have you ever worked in a corporate salon? Okay, I didn't think you. So I worked in a corporate salon for most of the beginning of. I started out one way, but then corporate, right? So 2 major companies, which I didn't think I should work there because I thought I should just be doing something more amazing. But I will say that over time, the things that you learn there, if you have a good manager, and I actually was 3 places. I had 3 great managers. And those people always told us stuff because we just want to like do the hair and talk to you and educate you and, laugh with you depending on, what kind of, how we are. Some people want to be quiet, and that's fine too. But we just want to do the hair part sometimes. But they always tell us, just because I know she's coming in, I'm just going to assume, oh, girl, you're getting your same thing because now it's been however many, like she said, say the 5th year comes around. But then I have to constantly retrain myself like I've done this year and like the end of last year, but I'm trying to get back into it. Just because she comes in and I'm like, okay, yeah, girl, this is what you put down. Now I'm trying to think, hey, like, do you want fries with that kind of thing? How's your hair doing? They'll be like, oh, because even if I see them, it's more so for me and not really them because I'm just assuming that they need the same thing when really hair changes, life changes, bodies change, seasons change. They might have gotten sick. Now we have COVID and monkeypox, which thankfully nobody I know has had monkeypox, but COVID drastically changed a new client's hair where all her hair came out. So she came to me after her COVID. I didn't know her during that time, but I'm working with the new head of hair, different than what she's used to.
Right. So what I've done over the last few years is I make it a habit is to say hello to my clients, and then I always ask, how's your hair doing? That's almost like my second to third question. I always want to know how their hair is doing, meaning does it feel dry? Does it feel like it's shedding more? Does it feel like it's growing? Does it feel like it's thinning? Like, I want to know all those things.
Have you noticed any changes? Like,
right. And they actually do.
And they do.
And if you don't ask, they won't say. But if you ask, they'll actually tell you, you know, and let you know that they pay attention to their hair, right?
Yeah.
Some people may notice it, but they may not feel like it's a big deal because you never ask.
Yeah, because they trust us so. I know, like she said, 7-year clients, 10-year clients. They come not because they can't find anywhere else. I feel like those people come to us and, you know, like you try to say, hey, you want to look at your hair? They're like, girl, no, I'm good, which makes it a little more stressful, but also more priority that, okay, I'm the eyes. Like you said, you could see someone,
one of my clients, she told me, she probably came to me for about a year, and she only came for treatment. She didn't come for anything else.
That's good.
And she was like, Constance, you don't remember my name, but you remember my scalp. And I was like, well,
she never remembered scalp she didn't know. Scalp number 47.
Right.
You miss nioxin.
Right.
Not that she used nioxin, but like, yeah, you miss
it was just
protein
so
with the hot oil treatments. Okay,
right.
Come on.
Right.
But that's almost better than if you can't remember the name in a way that is still better because that's more.
Yeah, that's to me
personal.
More that, and it's more important because you come for me to do your hair. Like, I need to know everything about your hair. Yes.
Treat her hair, which is like going to the doctor.
Yes.
So sometimes the doctor be like, hey, Margaret. But the doctor knew every treatment you got since the time you were 10 years old. Because they just forget, you know, we just forget sometimes.
Right. But no, it's very important to interact with your client and ask those questions. And it's important for you guys who's watching that aren't stylists to even, you know, expect that from your stylist. Because you shouldn't just go in expecting a hairstyle.
Because you can go anywhere and get anything you want, but you go to the places you go to because of maybe they're attentive, they have the things you want, the person is personable, like how people used to like going to what is that, Bloomingdale's, because wherever you could get a personal shopper. But you can go to any store and shop for yourself, but they wanted that personal experience. And if you're gonna pay anything for your hair, I don't care how much money it is, it doesn't matter. You need to have
results.
Yeah.
And you need to have a level of expectation.
At least as they say, a modicum of
because you know, here in Atlanta there's salons everywhere. I mean, everywhere you turn.
There are places that are not salons.
And there are homes.
And that is what I was trying to say.
But without saying it. Oh, okay, my bad.
And there are homes that are not actual salons. Like, just, hey, come on over to apartment A. I'm going to buzz you in. And you're going to wait 45. Okay, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, because I'm about to go into a whole different thing because that just brought the question to me of should we be licensed or shouldn't we be?
You should definitely be licensed, and if you are not licensed, where Georgia has, I think they still have a designer, but it's a license. You have to pay for that. You know, like hair designer, where you don't do chemicals. The braider's licensed, but you're still licensed. So it's not like you had to go. I would hope that you guys would take training. Maybe
not YouTube.
Not YouTube, like proper training, whether it's go take classes, go, you know, take online and hands-on classes, go work under somebody. There's a whole bunch of people that offer courses, and then you just build up.
We offer courses.
We offer courses.
Yeah.
By the way, we offer courses. And we're 2 fully licensed, experienced
salon owners
and master, because I go back to 1997 and write master. Don't nobody write that, but I'm trying to say I'm a master cosmetologist. My license say master cosmetologist. Okay, pumpkin, that's what we are. But we're not just hairstylists, which is fine to be a hairstylist, but we need everybody. But whoever you go to, just remember that too, because say if you're going to a hairstylist and say you're talking about the thing that we were talking about, which is natural hair and relaxer free hair, and then sometimes we do regurgitate things we saw online or we heard this person say, but when you start talking to the person, just like I know when I don't know what I'm talking about,
So she keep talking.
I just be talking, and then I be like, you feel yourself rambling.
And
you're like, well, ma'am, I mean, sometimes, it's just can happen. They're looking at you like, You don't know what you're talking about.
Of course, my mind goes to all different places. It's just like when you got a client and you trying to convince them that you know what you're talking about.
And most of the time you do, but you just can't, cause you can't get it together, and it sounds like, blah, 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 and you start having all these technical terms. Don't nobody know what you're saying. But there are people that actually don't know, and they won't tell you that they don't know, and but they're also not willing to figure it out. You cannot know, but you need to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And so, y'all pay them, which why do they need to learn now? Mm-hmm. Because they go to you for the curls, like I posted earlier, the curls and the laid down lace and the beautiful twist and the juicy spring twist and 2-strand twist and gorgeous locks, but are they taking care of your hair? Are you going to have to cut those locks off? Are you going to get the thing we said we're going to talk about, mold? Can you get moldy?
Oh my gosh.
So,
is it mold? Is the question.
Is it actual mold, bacteria?
It smells sour. And we're talking about if you're a stylist and you have clients that wear wet ponytails for 2 days.
Right.
And this ponytail is wet. It's been up for 2 days. It has not dried on the inside.
Meaning you wet your hair down with your stuff.
Trying to get your curls.
Get it curly and get the sleek,
well,
brush down.
When you take it down, for someone that can see on the top of your head, it's a big white spot, right? This white spot smells very mildewy.
Smells very like a white spot.
And it doesn't go away with one shampoo.
No,
and I'm sure that some of you who've worn wet ponytails smell it as well, because it's a strong, sour smell. My question is it mold? We haven't done any research on it, but it just looks and smells.
It's giving mold.
It's giving mold.
It's giving Georgia in the summer and in the winter.
So we definitely will have to do and have a conversation on that soon. And
then how to get your curls juicy and your ponytails looking nice
without
doing that, and then making sure that it's just like if I have somebody that has a sew-in or any kind of thing that is not allowed to breathe, I wash you don't want to sit under the dryer, or I rush you out of the dryer, which I try very much not to do, but I see sometimes y'all have to go. You still can't go with the wet braid down under there, because for some reason back there it still doesn't get dry, and then that smell and that moisture sits in there, and you create more issues, even if the issues is just your head stinks. And that's still not good, and then it traps whatever oils now you're going to put in there, whatever natural oils you build
but
up.
I think everyone is aware, they just don't know that it's a situation,
or it could be a situation,
right? Because some people just feel like when we take they take their sew-ins down, you see all the white stuff, the gunk, the smell, that it's normal. But it's not always normal. It's something that happens because there was something that went wrong. Unless
you worked out and you like some people like, girl, I worked out, which I know you worked out because you just came from your workout and you sweat a lot in your head. That is
to me is different,
because we're about to wash your hair and get everything cleaned and all that. That's different.
To me, I feel like when you sweat and you work out, you don't sweat enough to saturate the braids. Now your scalp is wet. Do you?
I had one person, she worked that during Peloton work, and it was hot, the dead of summer. Now she wasn't outside, but it was hot.
I'm saying to dry, like trap on the inside of the braid.
Oh, well, her hair was,
because some people. Yeah, but I'm saying it probably would have dried.
Oh yeah,
if it was
and it
still
would
up.
Dry. Yeah, you're right.
But versus like someone,
and it's saturated with all your products to keep it moist, because we're trying to keep it moist.
Right.
Okay, so
I mean, but it just depends on how you care for it, because a lot of people who's sweaty, they've been wearing their sew-in a while, so it's probably about an inch off the scalp anyway.
That is true. And then the ones that, if it's not time for them to get it washed, they know how, like at least the ones I know, they know how to go in there and like care for it to dry it up and make sure that they clean in between. And then when they get a real wash, then they take care. Yeah. So y'all, this has been a good topic.
It has been.
So real quickly, to reiterate, natural hair is
or could be considered in some people's terms natural still if you have color, because your texture has not been altered.
Okay.
And you can still receive natural hair services, meaning you can still do 2-strand twists
that look nice and
plump and not loose.
And they hold, and you don't have to put extra stuff on the ends.
So they're still juicy, as we would say.
Because your hair still can coil or curl or whatever your texture.
And I guess it's worth explaining, because you have some people who get keratin treatments and who get relaxers and feel as though they can still get 2-strand twists. I haven't seen one yet.
Don't go to Constance for that.
No, I haven't seen one yet.
You can come over here.
I'll try it, but I
just don't want to.
I just have a vision and a certain.
You just want it to look like how you want it to look, which is what all of us want it to look like. We want it to look.
But I just see that.
You want it to look plump and juicy, even if the hair is fine. You see the texture, right? So you're saying in your mind, this is what a proper, no matter what their texture is. They might have fine or whatever.
I wouldn't give you 2-strand twists. I might give you a flat twist updo combo with some flexi rods or something like that.
Can I have combo number 6?
Yes, but we will not be doing the twist.
That's not like. Can I get some finger waves on the side with the candy cane French roll?
Yes.
But I still like that, because that's the thing, like she said, like we said, to have a good consultation that, maybe try not on your visits when you are doing that, or you meet somebody for the first time. We're going to do it, because I try to do it, like, make sure I have enough time for the new person, or like the person we're doing something, we got to talk, because sometimes we don't have time to talk. But then I noticed the talk. I'm like, why is it an hour longer? It's because we talked for 30 minutes at least.
Yeah, so you gotta learn how to get talk and
understand it. No, like it was a consultation that needed to happen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so now, I just try to make sure that I do have enough time for certain people, because when you're changing out something, it's not gonna always be what you planned that day. Not for everybody, but sometimes, like, you think you're going to do a shampoo and style on the same lady you've been doing it, but there's been changes, and you do need to take the time to address those changes. And then every client after that, I just had to make sure, like, I let them know as soon as I saw what needed to happen. I couldn't, if I could do it, I did it. If I couldn't do it, I used most of the time to talk to them about it, so we'll know what we have to do. Because, like you said, we can't just always assume this is what we're about to do today.
Yeah, no. I don't even assume that most of my clients that book for a certain service
that they really want that. I've noticed that too. They just take up the space because they don't really.
They just want the time to get in.
Yeah.
But like doing a consultation is key. I don't necessarily consult at the chair with my regular clients, but I do consult at the bowl a lot of times, so I am shampooing and consulting. And if there are issues, I typically give them the mirror while I blow dry, and we consult this whole time, so that because like you say, talking, you get caught up, you lose the track of time, and before you know it, you're barely blow drying and your next client is there.
That could be so. And that's where you
definitely
practice your own consultation method.
Right.
Hers is different from mine.
Right.
Some things I can't go further into what I need to do without knowing what I need to know. Some things I have to know before I do the shampoo. Some things I have to know. And this is not people that's mostly regulars. Because we pretty much know, but it's like your newer people that they don't even know. Like, I got a lady now with a big old dreadlock.
And this is just a question, do you charge for your consultation?
Yeah, when they go over the basic little, like, few minutes. Just a few minutes. I don't charge. It says 15 minutes, but those consultations are not at the time of the appointment.
Right. So,
and if they drag longer or I have to give more stuff, now we've turned into an appointment. Yeah. And I don't have a lot of those.
I have to say, I used to do free consultations, but the free consultations did turn more into so I do charge for any consultation, whether it's 5 minutes to 30 minutes.
I think a lot of people are doing that too. I just haven't thought about what I should do.
I think,
but I've thought about
because
that
because of
that.
your time, and it's
And
creating a roadmap. Like, you're actually taking the time to go through what needs to be done to get that
you're
person
giving them
to where they need to get to, right?
But they can take that map and go on over to Johnny's
They
place.
can, but they're less liable to, if that's a word. It's probably
it
not.
don't matter, but you know what she's talking about.
They are more into staying,
because
if they pay for your information.
Oh yeah, I get what
versus
you're
free you just giving it free, and then let me go over here and see what this free person says. Because if you're charging,
I noticed that.
I feel like people,
they want that money to roll into the net.
And they want to know what is she offering versus this free person.
So we can talk about that too, as far as like maybe some business things. Because we're all making changes on a lot of stuff, and some of this stuff is old that needs to be changed to work for now, like how things are now.
Because
and it's not about being money hungry or how people say stylists want to live these lives.
No.
By the way, why shouldn't we want to live a good life? Y'all live a good life. But it's not.
I think really with the consultations, what it is people don't realize how much time they take up.
That's true.
And it's not because they're asking a whole bunch of questions. They're expecting answers, and they're listening. But at the same time, that 5 minutes can turn into an hour, and you're still talking to that person, versus them coming in and them having a consultation that they're paying for. They know exactly how long we're going to hold this conversation for, and if we need to do more, then I'll just have to come back.
It's
definitely it's not really,
because people will, not on purpose, but sometimes like try to get everything they can. Not being rude, but like, this was only supposed to be this time. But now I got other things to do. So
in a consultation too, you have to think of what you're asking. You want someone to look at your hair. You want them to look at your scalp. You want them to suggest products or suggest a path to get you where you need to go. You want all these things. You want to sit there and write it down. You know what I'm saying? You want
pictures sent to you.
Yeah.
You want to name your baby.
I think the big difference is we're not on insurance, so this yearly.
Right, and then you come back for another consultation. Man, we just did one. So how many consultations you gonna get? But anyway, it's a lot of things we could talk about, and a lot of things we could go into. So. And it's on both sides.
Yeah, but these YouTubes are free.
Well, they're free, but they ain't free because that's time.
It is, but we're doing what we love.
Yeah.
Live, laugh,
free
love.
In a good way.
Yeah, and we enjoy y'all viewing us too. So.
Yeah. That means I'm ready to go. All right, y'all. So I hope that you guys liked this video. I did put out a poll this morning because I was feeling excited. I hope that somebody answered the poll, but it was the question that I wanted to know. Do you still think you're natural if you don't have a relaxer?
But you have chemical
color treated hair.
Yeah, color treated hair.
Yeah. So let us know.
And chemical relaxer, like she said to me, it can be keratin.
Yeah. I put all the straighteners.
Yeah.
Because straighteners,
anything that alters your texture. It can be a perm.
Any texture alter. Yes, right. Permanent wave.
There you go.
Like curly perm or
because I know some people don't know the difference between a relaxer and a perm.
Another thing to talk about.
They are not the same thing.
They are not the same. Thank you guys for watching Socially Cultur'd.
Tune in.
We don't have theme music. Bye.